This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back for 12 games in 13 days at Toyota Field, starting June 10th through the 22nd. The back-to-back homestands contain 5 giveaway nights, 4 post-game fireworks shows, 2 brand-new team identities, and the in-park debut of the number 57 Trash Pandas race car. Get your tickets for the double homestand now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
John Abraham here for Bobcat of Huntsville. Right now till the end of June, you can get 0% financing on the world-famous line of Bobcat skid steers, excavators, mowers, and tractors. Need attachments? They got them. And did I mention 0% as in nada? No financing charge for 48 months. It's like free money. Visit the brand new Bobcat of Huntsville in their tremendous new facilities on Highway 20 in Madison, right next to Redstone Harley-Davidson.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa, starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If you need masonry, brick, stone, or block work, Eagle should be your first call. They can even help if your property needs grading, erosion control, and Eagle can handle dirt haul-off. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money. Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. And Owens Crossroads, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 326 Sutton Road very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Owens Crossroads.
Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
And away we go here on a Tuesday. Walking you up to, I guess, Braves baseball. Are we still a Braves affiliate? Are the Braves still playing baseball?
Do we claim them? Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm thinking about the question. Yeah. Of course, I'm still a Braves fan.
Oh,
yeah, of course I am. I'm always going to be a Braves fan.
There's a joke in there about pallbearers.
Yeah. 2021 is still like a little fresh in the back of my mind, but
it stings a little bit.
That's Brian
Still got a little
Temple.
flunk on it. Yeah,
That's Brian Temple behind the glass.
appreciate you.
Coming up on the program today, got a newbie, at least on the show. He's not new. Cedric Golden is someone I got a chance to sit down in our plethora of time down on the beach. Well, Wes saw more of the beach than I. Well, not as if Wes was on the beach, but
Well,
he
let's
saw.
Just say one of you came
Yeah.
back with sand in your suitcase, and one of you did not.
He saw the beach more than I saw the beach, but Cedric Golden and I.
Well, you saw it through a webcam.
Well, yeah, that's true. He was at least on the Feinbaum program. He covers the University of Tennessee for the Austin American-Statesman. He is a columnist and a Heisman Trophy voter as well. He is going to join us here in about 15 minutes' time. David Cutcliffe also going to join us here later on this first hour. There are many signs of the offseason, and another one hit this morning, and it just gives me a reason to play this music. And by the way, this music doesn't hit the same for me anymore. I don't know if you saw what CBS. If you really want to know why Gary Danielson's retiring, their big feature matchup right out of the gate is Nevada taking on Penn State.
Well, I was listening to Chuck Oliver on Monday.
Yeah.
And they were going down that list. It's going to be there, and it's just misstep after misstep after misstep.
But I associate this song with the Southeastern Conference.
I mean, it brings back just a little bit of memories of the old Jefferson Pilot, you know?
A little bit. Yeah. The JP days.
When SEC football was in its rightful place, middle of the day, right on your TV.
The analytics folks at the Worldwide Leader have put out, at least just from an analytical standpoint, of how the college football season is supposed to go, including, let's see here, there are 6 teams in the Southeastern Conference that have at least a 10% chance of reaching the SEC championship game. Now, what I'm more interested in is, I think we can all guess Texas is first on the list. Is that fair? Texas is first. Second is Georgia. By the way, Texas's chance to get to the title game, 55%. Georgia's 46%. Third on the list. Third on the list behind Texas and Georgia,
LSU.
Alabama at 33%. Then Texas A&M at 13%. Then Tennessee at 11%.
So LSU's not on there?
And LSU's at 10%.
So let me ask you this. Who's that by?
This is ESPN Analytics.
Oh, well.
Come on now.
How do you analyze a team from last year when you have NIL especially? You know, you could give a little bit of this to before, but now to me this means nothing.
Best chance to win the conference across the board. ACC, Clemson at 34%. The American is Tulane at 45%. The Big 12 at Kansas State at 20%. The Big 10, Ohio State at 40%. Conference USA, I'm talking to you there, Mr. Jack State. That is Liberty at 38%. The MAC is Toledo at 28%.
Oh, Toledo.
Yeah. Mountain West is Boise State at 46%. Mentioned that Texas is your odds-on favorite. Their odds to win the SEC is 34%.
What about the fun?
Yeah, I'm getting there. The Fun Belt is those Raging Cajuns.
Here we go.
There you go.
At 19%.
very high, but
19%
better than
for
not. Yeah.
Louisiana. So, best chances to win it all. Best chances to win the whole thing. Where is it this year? Is it Miami? I don't even know. I can't think off the top of my head of what, because of course it was in ATL.
I don't know.
I'm not sure where the championship game is right off the top of my head, but the best chances to win the title. Let's see here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 teams that have at least a double-digit percentage chance. This according to ESPN Analytics. Your odds-on favorite to win the college football playoffs, hook them. That would be the Texas Longhorns at 24%.
That's not surprising.
Followed by Georgia at 18%. Then Ohio State at 11%. And the final team that also checks in at 11%, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Well, there you go.
Everybody says they're going to be good. I haven't seen them practice because we talked about that yesterday. Just the way they changed the time and what was going on during that time. It's
a lot of morning practice.
Yes, 8:30. I guess they on school nights, so school days. So it's hard to get there.
Well, Texas and the Ohio State University, those two don't surprise me in the top 4. Because they're going to get ranked. They're going to get ranked higher just because of name.
Yeah, to me, I'm not sure how good Ohio State's going to be. Lost all their coaches, lost their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they brought a lot to the table as well. It wasn't like they and then lost all their key players. I just think that but here's the thing. They can be bad early and still get in and peak like that. It's kind of what they did at the end of last year. They peaked at the right time.
So that's out there. Your top non-conference games on the schedule, again, according to ESPN Analytics, starts off, there are 2 premier matchups in week 1. How many are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 games that will have meaning towards the playoffs. I love how this is worded. Meaning towards the playoffs, whatever that means. In week 1, Texas at Ohio State, Notre Dame at Miami, LSU at Clemson, and Alabama at Florida State. A week 3 matchup has Texas A&M at Notre Dame on the list. Week 2, Michigan at Oklahoma. Wow, I didn't realize that was on the hit parade. And then week 5, Notre Dame at Arkansas. I'm kind of circling that game in particular as a very important game for Sam Pittman.
Well, I don't think
maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Okay, I'm wrong.
Yeah, on that one. I mean, all the games are important somewhat, but if he loses to Notre Dame, there's no shame. If he loses to Weber State, then you got to worry about it. Or he doesn't have a winning season, then you have to worry about it. But just winning, all the games are important because if you beat Notre Dame, then all of a sudden that gives you some time. But if you lose to him, I don't think there's any shame in that.
Wrong again.
What? I bet you talk to the guys at Arkansas. If he has a winning season, goes to the bowl game, they're going to be happy. Not maybe, but it's not like they going to have a great team. That we know that they have. They
were 7-6 last year, 3-5 in SEC play, and really they start off with Alabama A&M. And then it's Arkansas State at Ole Miss, at Memphis.
Well,
then they host Notre Dame.
You lose to Arkansas State, then you're gone. Yeah, and that's the one you got to worry about. Memphis is pretty good.
No, I realize that.
If you lose to that, you have a losing season, yeah.
So Arkansas State is the make or break.
I think for them, yeah. I mean, the whole season matters. But it's not going to be just a loss to Notre Dame.
After Notre Dame is a bye week, if there would be a coaching change. And then at Tennessee, host Texas A&M, host Auburn, host Mississippi State. Then the second open date at LSU, at Texas, host Mizzou on the back half.
Here's the key. Who are you going to get better than who you have at Arkansas?
Well, there's always some assistant that maybe
the
could be
system,
the next
they think the best
up and comer.
The best, could be, would be.
Well,
you gonna hire?
They've got a guy who's got head coaching experience on the staff.
Right. Well, so you're going to fire him and
how many Hog fans really want that, though?
Well, I mean, I
bet there's a lot.
There's probably some, but I think it's a mistake.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be.
So, I mean, it depends on, are you losing because of the offense or you losing because of defense? You know, if they're scoring, you're getting beat, you're getting beat 45-35, then, you're not going to,
We'll dive into the odds-on favorite, the Texas Longhorns on the other side. Cedric Golden from the Austin American-Statesman. He joins us next.
You said Tennessee the first time. I knew that couldn't be right.
Texas. Hook them. Hook them.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyandersonford.com, with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Not familiar with this tune. Educate me.
Ryan, this Family Stone. Same thing. Way deep in the milk crate today.
I like it. I like it.
I got to tell you, my wife and I have been watching a new show called Hacks.
Yeah. I've seen the promotion.
Gene Smart, from years ago from Designing Women, a bunch of others, great roles, and it's about she is an aging diva in Las Vegas, and it's got a lot of great. What's holding me is it's got a lot of great music in it.
This is part of it.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm in. I'm in.
I mean, yesterday I pulled out some SOS Band, Epic Flight Band, remake of the old Isley Brothers song, Work to Do. I think I'm reaching way in the milk crate today.
Coming up tomorrow, we will be over at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, and then we'll be walking you up to the Women's College World Series, which features the Red Raiders of Texas Tech taking on Hook Them. Texas, not Tennessee, Texas, as those two teams will square off. So we will have a new champion, but you'll be able to hear the Women's College World Series right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And that leads us into a little talk around the Longhorns themselves. And this is, a case in which the Texas Longhorns coming off of a 13-3 campaign, and everybody is dubbing Arch Manning as the next greatest. And listen, what little we saw of Arch last year,
he improved a lot.
Impressed.
I wouldn't say. He had mixed reviews from me. Mixed reviews. I don't think he did all that much last year. But I mean, his potential, you can see it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So a lot put on Arch, but keep in mind that CJ Baxter was injured in the preseason last year, didn't play. He is coming back. Just something to keep an eye on there, because that was a big issue for Sark in the preseason of scrambling to find the right running back. I think he pulled one from SMU, if I'm not mistaken. But a lot was made on how easy the schedule was for Texas last year.
Well, I mean, they played Michigan at Michigan, and you thought, it's not their fault, in my opinion, that their schedule was as bad. But beating Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt might have been their best win.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I mean,
a lot of people pivoted to that. Yeah.
They had never beaten, and they had played a lot.
Yeah.
I think they had never beaten Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt. Like they were 0-9.
That's right. Yeah. We went through that before.
I mean, Vanderbilt was the team back in 1919.
Way back.
Because that stadium they had was built probably somewhere before there.
I mean, back when Sewanee and Tulane were in the SEC?
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
The good old days.
Hey, I learned that on the Blitz today.
The good old days. Oh, you didn't know about Sewanee being in the old SEC?
Look at me. Do I look like I know sports?
Well, I mean, we featured the guy who came out with that documentary. Undefeated or
we used to have a guy on every week that was a graduate of Sewanee.
That's right. Phil Savage.
For
those of you that are keeping
and
track.
His favorite go-to guy, wide receiver, the famous Mark Kent.
There it is. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, for me, football is just that game they play at the marching band shows.
I've never heard that before. Have you heard that before?
Yeah. That's for really bad programs. That's kind of a motto for a lot of really bad programs.
Hey, I went to a private school that was 1A, but only because there was nothing smaller.
So Brian, where
And
are
we
you
were
from?
a marching band school.
Yeah, where are you from?
I grew up in Anniston, Alabama.
I know. Yeah, okay, that's Jacksonville State, too,
The
right?
the entertainment capital.
How
of
did
the
they
South.
get you out of there? That's what I want to know.
I came up here for a job. That's a lie. I came up here to follow a woman and got a job.
Yeah, that's what
There
happens.
it is.
Yeah,
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
No, I was working at a TV station back home.
It's undefeated.
TV, and,
Just in case you're wondering.
for those of
think?
you think back to the early '90s, when they made ABC 3340 in Birmingham, if you watch James Spann at all, that's where he is. I was at the 40 of 3340, and they took two TV stations and made one. And even my little hamster in the wheel knew they need half the number of people they have now.
Oh,
Let's find a job.
yeah.
So
There you go.
Hunts Patch was a good move for me.
No doubt.
Glad to have you here.
And I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere in my life.
I'm sneaking up on that. I'm actually sneaking up on that.
Yeah, I've been there.
Texas starts off at Ohio State, then plays host to San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston, then at Florida, Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl, at Kentucky, at Mississippi State, host Vanderbilt, at Georgia. That's on November the 15th. Host Arkansas and host A&M, Texas A&M, that is. That is the Texas schedule coming off of a 13-win campaign. But there is a lot gone, especially on the wide receiver core, but there's a decent amount coming in or returning. Wingo in particular, back on that wide receiver core. There is a lot of hype around Steve Sarkisian and the level at which the Texas Longhorns are. So let's talk a little bit more about that with Cedric Golden, who is kind enough to join us. Cedric, how are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm just checked into the hotel here in Oklahoma City, and there's a tornado, but it's nowhere near my hotel.
Goodness. So you were there for the Women's College World Series, and that is it feels strange that we're not going to get to see Oklahoma and Texas. That feels like it's death, taxes, and a softball championship.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I've never covered it before, and I was kind of hoping for that matchup because they always seem to run into each other. And OU seemed vulnerable this year. It turns out they were, and Texas did beat them. But I figured it would be in the championship.
Yeah. Well, it's looking forward certainly to that. And if anything, this is the one sport, Cedric, that I have watched more of. That if I would have told myself 20 years ago, a younger version of myself, I would have thought, goodness gracious, I've gone crazy and I'm in an insane asylum.
Yeah, because usually it's at this time of year for me, it's always just been baseball. And but softball's had such a good year, and first year in the SEC, and Texas has been winning championships, conference titles. So when they turned in a banner season, I told my boss, I said, well, maybe I should give them a look, and they've been a fun watch.
Were you in town for the regional? Tell me a little bit about ultimately the Roadrunners getting the best of the Longhorns there.
Let me tell you, Steve, the best team won that regional. There's no question. The best team won it. Texas, they were 38-5 at one point of the season, and they just never found the right gear. They never figured it out, and they went 6-9 over their last 15 games. And the injury to Jared Spencer, their Friday night starter, was too much to overcome. They just never found the right groove after such a great start. And I'm going to tell you, man, after they swept Georgia in April, and they were just on a roll. They were 26-4. And so I asked Jim Schlossnagle after the Sunday game, I said, is there another level you guys can reach? Because you seem to be clicking on all cylinders. Now, I didn't ask if he was peaking too soon, but that was my thought at the time. It's like, it's a long season, and where do they go from here? And it just, it's just one of those things where they did peak too soon, and several key players were banged up down the stretch, and they just couldn't overcome it. And UTSA did everything right. They committed one error in 3 games.
Wow.
That's how well they played.
Wow.
So when you play like that and you get timely hits, you're going to beat most people you play.
Wow. I did not realize that. I'm talking to Cedric Golden right now in the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And certainly we spent plenty of time last week down on the beach, although we saw plenty of the basement more than any type of sand. But what were your big takeaways, if anything, coming out of the spring meetings, Cedric?
Well, there's a lot of talk, but there was very little action. And, it was my first SEC spring meetings. I enjoyed it immensely, just to meet you, Steve, and to be able to see some of the guys that you don't always see, some of the national guys like Thamel and Pat Forty's a friend, people like that. But of course, Paul Feinbaum, who's a buddy. But for me, man, it was fun. It was fun to be in that environment. The conference itself, the SEC is, I've covered the NFL, and it is the closest thing to the NFL, the way it's run, the way it's set up, and the interest in it, and the buzz surrounding these teams. So I just love the energy of this league, and I'm just looking forward to being around it for a while.
The 5+11 model is getting a lot of traction, and it feels like the locomotive is at least heading in that direction.
I like it, man. We never want to live in a world where you don't reward champions, conference champions. Now, I will not cry any tears if they get rid of the conference championship game, because I just think that's just one day of violence that they don't really need. But the regular season champion of the SEC should stand, and if it's 2 teams, there should be a tiebreaker. But coming from someone who covered the Horns, who had to go to Atlanta twice, and then to Dallas, and somewhere in between, that was taxing not only on the team but on the fan base, especially during the holidays. That's not really fair. So my hope is that maybe they'll give consideration to maybe hosting another week of home games on campus. Maybe figure that out with the bowl system. I know the bowl system is traditional and there's TV money involved, but it's a lot to ask the fans to have to do something like go to Atlanta twice in 3 weeks.
Try doing that for about 15 years in a row.
That's crazy, man.
So
you know what? It's one thing. Texas is. I'm not very good at geography. I would guess that Texas is the most east of the Southeast Conference teams.
Most west,
I would say.
I think Oklahoma's the most west, though, right?
Oh, I mean the most west. Yeah, the most west. Texas or Oklahoma. So the Sooners, if they, the way they've been playing, they haven't been complaining because they were very, very average.
Yeah, Coach Saban broke us.
But what'd you say?
Coach Saban broke all of us.
Kept winning, man.
Yeah, well, they opened up somewhere, and yeah. So, yeah, man. But
people like us, though, it's a good problem to have. I don't mind the travel because I'm not paying for it. But for people who are like, you got to do Christmas shopping, and you're up after Thanksgiving, and you're trying to get ready for the new year, and then
just hope y'all continue to have that problem.
The diehard are going to have to dig deep into those pockets. I talked to some people at the airport in Atlanta, and they were like, "We love our Longhorns, but man, we've stretched our budget thin this year."
Yeah, it's just going to get worse. The better you get, the worse it is. But so the only thing about the Southeastern Conference, and I've been for them, I think that should, but they make too much money. It's never going to happen. I mean, the other ones don't make the money that the SEC does. The SEC makes so much money off that game that I don't think you'll ever see it go away. And the fact that they came up with the game at the beginning is, I think, another kind of feather in their cap thing, because now everybody did it. And when they first did it, everybody talked about how stupid it was, and it almost ended up that way the first year when Alabama played Florida in a very close game, and Alabama was undefeated that year. Anyway, I agree with the premise, just that it's an extra game and they could do away with it, but I don't think they ever will because of the money that's made.
Yeah, and my question is also, is it how long is the contract with Atlanta? Is there a chance that Jerry Jones could get his grubby hands on that game? Because I know he'd like a piece of that with the Arkansas connection.
Well, I don't know that offhand, but I am looking that up. But I want to say they just renewed that, and yes, it is through 2031. This report came out when November of 23 was when this story came out between the Southeastern Conference, because I know they like the SEC football championship game at the Georgia Dome or Mercedes or whatever they're calling it this week, and basketball to be in Nashville, and other events to travel around like the SEC football media days.
You know, I don't really have a problem with it. Atlanta's a nice hub. There's going to always be plenty of flights. There's going to always be plenty of hotels. There's a great nightlife, great restaurant. So I've got no problem with it. You know, as a media person, I'm all about it. That's great. That's great. That's a nice trip. But, you know, for Joe Blow, who's already spent a boatload of money on season tickets, is probably going to test his loyalty to the program a little even more.
So moving over to football, there's certainly a lot on Arch, but I mean, there is, it already felt like a parade when we were in Dallas last year for the football media days. It feels like it's going to get ramped up even more when we venture to Atlanta here in about a month and a half, that this is going to be another Texas parade.
Well, they believe in Austin, and Arch Manning is the next great quarterback. You know, the right after Vince Young, Colt McCoy, Sam Ellinger put up some big numbers. That he's the next great one, and we know he has the pedigree, and he's got the stature. He's 6'4", 220 pounds, runs like the wind. He's more of an athlete like his grandfather than his famous uncle. So. I was at the softball game last week. Man, there were so many 50-something-year-old men walking around in Arch Manning jerseys. I'm like, man, These guys are excited. And you never saw that many Quinn Ewers jerseys, that's for sure. And Quinn had a good career.
Yeah. Is Arch still growing?
I think so. He's listed as 6'4", and I saw him last week. He looks taller than 6'4" to me. I think he might be 6'5" already. And he's stout. Man, he is stout, well put together. Just looks like a big old football player. Looks like a guy that could be playing linebacker.
Looks like a guy that could score a touchdown from the one.
Oh, wow. Instead of the toss sweep, you think?
Anybody watch the tush push?
Oh, boy.
I mean,
you think Sarkisian's replayed that in his head a few times?
Well, I was telling them don't do it the whole time. So I was saying, 4 times from the one, tush push 4 times in a row, you don't score, it's on your offensive lineman, right?
But here's the thing.
Instead, it's on him.
Here's what we didn't know. He got blown up on that one carry for a first down. He got concussed, and that's why they didn't let him come back in.
Oh, you're talking about but Manny did?
Manning, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, against Ohio State. Yeah, he got blown up. And so, because I saw him in the spring. I go, did you get blown up on that one play because you didn't play again? He goes, yeah, it's part of the game. He got me pretty good. They wouldn't let me go back in the game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I hope that would be. Who's the backup quarterback going to be for Texas next year?
Yeah, they got a couple. So yeah, but I'm sure they're hoping that those guys will be holding clipboards and while 16's doing his thing.
Well, enjoy OKC. And I looked up the radar. Boy, you weren't lying, as there is a severe line going right through Norman. So it's but you're downtown there in OKC, and listen, it's a bucket list as well as Omaha for me to cover those events. So enjoy Oklahoma City, sir.
Man, I'll tell you from personal experience, I went to 3 College World Series when I was the beat writer, and including the 05 year when Texas won. Everybody should go to a College World Series. It's the most underrated event in American sports. You'll love it.
Really appreciate the time, and look forward to visiting with you again, Cedric.
All right, my pleasure. Take care, guys.
That is Cedric Golden from the Austin American-Statesman and a Heisman Trophy voter as well. But it was good to get to know Cedric last week there down on the beach. We do need to take a time out as David Cutcliffe is in the on-deck circle. Coach Cut is set to join us next right here on The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
John Abraham here for the parts department at Bobcat of Huntsville. Not only do these guys carry genuine OEM Bobcat parts, they also have a full line of Marshalltown concrete supplies. On top of that, they have a wide selection of arborist tools and supplies on hand for you tree guys. Bobcat of Huntsville also has a full service department, and don't forget the sales and rental guys too. Come on down and visit the all-new Bobcat of Huntsville location in Madison on Highway 20 next to the Redstone Harley-Davidson.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
A warm and muggy night across the North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures dropping into the mid and upper 60s. A mostly to partly sunny sky Wednesday afternoon. Once again, climbing into the mid and upper 80s. A rogue showers possible. Most of us are dry. A mostly to partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Once again, temperatures climbing into the mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WCZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero. in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
A lot to get into with our next guest is David Cutcliffe is kind enough to join us. Still got that beach tan from Sandustin there, Coach?
Destin, I've never made it to the beach, as you might imagine.
What?
Meeting upon meeting upon meeting. And, yeah, it's not much of a beach vacation. I'm going to take one here at the end of June, 1st of July, because we do that every year with our family. But
where do you go,
not
Coach?
this time of year. We're going to go back down to Destin. We bring as many people as that want to come, so we always try to rent a great big old house.
So,
and,
can me and my family come?
Do what? Yeah.
Wes does the same thing, Coach.
I do the same thing.
A neighbors is always family, right?
That's right. There's 24 of us.
Well, we will end up, I think the last count I heard was 29 of us.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And
so what section are you staying in, Destin?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. I'd love to see you, for real. I'll be down there the whole time, the whole week.
Yeah, we're in, you know where the Winn-Dixie is at that intersection?
Absolutely.
Get on Beach Road.
Right.
One of those houses, right there.
Well, I'm not far from you.
It's a great place, as
Yes.
we all know. Here's how I pack to go to the beach, just so you know. 2 bathing suits, 3 workout shorts, 3 T-shirts, 1 pair of tennis shoes, and 1 pair of slides. That's it.
That's that.
me.
You go.
And I don't like to go out to eat. I don't like to do all
We
that
can't
stuff.
go with 29 people. Where are you going out to eat with 29 people?
No, that's right. And we got all kind of cooks. And I am the leading cleanup man in the history of kitchen cleanup, because I grew up with no dishwasher other than me, and there were 8 of us, and I was designated the dishwasher.
You're the youngest?
And yeah, no, I was middle. I just was good at it. Mother said, "You're going to do it." And, you know, we had to stack them in a drying, rack. And nobody could stack them like I could. It was like some kind of game for me. And they would drip dry. We didn't even have to towel dry them. Plus, we had no air conditioning, so it was going dry because it was.
Walk through the snow to school.
No, I didn't do that. But I'm gonna just tell you now, there were no easy things. One of the best one, my first introduction to media is television. We had a 13-inch black and white TV, and we had an antenna on the roof. And when it would blow, we'd lose the picture. Daddy would grab my ankles and put me out a window. I'd grab a hold of the roof, pull up, go up there, and you'd be moving it around, and they'd be hollering out the window, "Okay." Then you let go of it. You're part of the antenna. No, don't move it. I said, I didn't. Move it some more. And then you go to the edge of the roof. Talking about trust, you hang your legs off.
Yeah, that is trust.
He'd reach out the window and get me down. So that's a little good for nothing story for y'all. But
No,
that was great.
I locked myself out of the condo. Connor was 4, and I was on the 3rd floor, and I lifted up the 2nd. He crawled to the 3rd. He was a little monkey.
We could do things then.
Yeah.
And we had lots of trees, and I found out quickly that in the summer, it was always cooler in the trees, not under them.
Mm-hmm.
If you went up high, you caught a little breeze. And so my mother'd get mad at me. I'd climb way up oak trees now. And I mean, I'd be up 40, 50 feet off the ground with some of the big ones. So a little crazy, but a lot of fun.
Well, Coach, I really thought that there'd be a little bit more uniformity among the coaches that talked to us down there in Destin, but it really didn't feel like there was a whole lot of the same message coming out of any of the coaches.
What category are you referencing the most?
Well, Yeah, that's a really good question because I'm
Well,
thinking.
Let me help you then.
Yes,
I
sir.
can help you at the continuum as we have gone on beyond the beach. Those meetings are brief. There are a lot of things that you have to dive into that, I mean, listen, all that legal and all of this stuff, and they sit and listen to it. And you know, I've really encouraged them, even though it's sometimes hard, because they're competitors, to really become a band of communicators.
Yeah.
And they're doing a great job of that right now and landing in a good spot on many of the things. I'm not going to share their thoughts right now, but I can tell you this in my 50 years of being around this, this is the best I've seen coaches communicate. I'm really proud of them and happy for them. I mean, they are on fire in that regards and being truthful, not afraid to speak what they believe is the truth and work it through. And then our administrators are doing a great job of the same thing. And you're going to get on two sides of the street sometime with an AD and a coach of any sport, because the AD is now a CEO of a multi-million dollar industry, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I understand their ledger, and I try to sit in their meetings and listen to them so I can kind of shed light to the coaches on, you know, don't just think one way. You've got to see the big picture. But those administrators are listening. They're sharing honest of communication. The commissioner is great at it. He doesn't try to hide things from either the administrations we have in athletics at the institutions, nor from the coaches who are afraid to speak the truth to them. So I think we're landing in some places that can really be productive. The difficulty is that you have all sorts of committees and subcommittees that will get involved. You guys are aware of that, right? I've just been
Yes,
in
sir.
Indianapolis for the whole day yesterday. I got up here at 3:15 a.m., caught the early Delta flight to Atlanta, and then Atlanta on to Indy, and then came in after midnight last night. And it's worth it, but you know how many steps there are. And the meeting I had yesterday was mostly associated with football rules overall. So, of course, John McDade from the Southeastern Conference was there, and other supervisor of officials and some administrators. But there's just so many hoops to jump through in the current model. And I think that's going to change over time. I think you're going to see the A4 take more control of its destiny, which is appropriate.
Yeah.
You still have to work within each other, and that's easier said than done. And so, you know, the categories were college football playoff. You know, everybody's got an opinion, and you know, but there was a lot of listening, and I think people kind of understand, coaches and administrators, to where it is or what it's become. And then obviously the calendar, the portal, you know, all of those things are going to be nationally always difficult. There are implementation committees now. That's a new word for me. We weren't implementing by committee, but we have a very powerful implementation committee that will make some of these decisions. But our coaches have been able to present their voice because they've been organized. We'll see what happens.
So, Coach, what are some of the concerns that you have as far as the rule committee?
Football rules?
Yes, sir.
I just think there are a lot of ideas, and I sat for the first part and listened. You know, some of it is from cost. Some of it is, do you need 8 officials? Let's go to 7. And I listened for a good while, and I'll tell you what I said. And this is a huge concern of mine. when you start playing with the game itself, you have no idea the drastic effect that could occur. And so I will tell you all this, unless it is necessary to change. And if it's necessary to change, if it's broken, brother, you should have done it yesterday, right?
That's
but
right.
Here's one of the best advices I got as a young head coach from Irk Russell. May he rest in peace. He said, Cut. So let me tell you something you need to understand. If it's not necessary to change, then it is absolutely necessary not to change. Only change when it is absolutely necessary. Don't be afraid to take your time on your decisions. And it was great advice because we're jumping at what's next, and we're getting just so much information. And there's a difference. And one of the things we talked about in Football Rules was data, not trends. They kept talking about trends. I said, a trend is not a statistic. We need to be able to do what the NFL does. I met with Alan Seals from the NFL about their data and their data gathering. And we've got Dr. Katie O'Neill, and we've got great training rooms and trainers. So when you make a change that's, quote, for safety purposes, you need to have data that backs it up. You may make the game more dangerous. You don't know. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And then the Big 12 was in the room, and this was way prior to them. But I don't know if y'all remember when all of a sudden the Big 12 was putting up offensive numbers that were totally insane.
I remember that.
Oklahoma State. I mean, Texas Tech. And I mean, I'm looking at it, and it was 500 yards a game, 606 yards a game. And I'm like, good gosh. Well, when I studied it, and I said this in the room, I said, y'all were calling pass interference much more closely than any other league, and you were letting offensive linemen bear hug, and you had the least number of holding calls. So, yes, points are going to go up. And I said, I don't need anybody to tell me, but what my guess was, it was to work to increase attendance. And this old run first conference, remember the Big Eight, you know?
Right.
Yes, sir.
All that wind and said, so, you know, I think it wasn't an accident. I think it was planned. And you put all those points in the game and more people in the seat because people like to see people score touchdowns. Remember the old saying?
Yeah, but look,
offense sells tickets and defense wins
championships. What was funny when you watch those, Coach? Yeah.
Beg your pardon?
When you were watching those guys play, it looked more like they were running a 50-yard race. The defensive backs would be running right next to receivers. There wasn't much tackling going on, is my point.
No, there's not tackling. There's not any contact allowed in the secondary. And then so, you know, then the only other point I made about Football Rules, I said the NFL done this a long time, and they've used data a long time. And you better be purposeful. But I will tell you guys this. I know this for a fact because I've known a lot of GMs. A lot of the you know, they have the competition committees. A lot of decisions they make in that league is to increase that's my favorite stat. It's my only stat is PPG. You know what that is? Points per game. All this other stuff people love to look at. What the hell does it mean? If you score more points than the other team, you win, right?
That's right.
So the NFL makes a lot of their decisions, competition decisions, based on PPG. You elevate it a little bit, you get a little more action, you get a little more parity. And so I'm not against any of this, I'm telling you. What I'm saying is, again, unless it's necessary to change our game, don't change it. Okay? If it is necessary, by gosh, we need to do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm suggesting slow yourself a bit to collect data, real data. Let's look at what the numbers are. Let's look at where the calls. And one of the great things they're doing is trying to balance, for the most part, the A4, but Central Command, where the game's officiated, pretty much the same. Now you got a playoff. You're playing critical games with other officials after you've been playing with yours all year long. And John McDade in the SEC is great at this. So that meeting was all about open communication in that regard, and that was beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. And, I'm probably giving y'all more that you could talk about later, but more information than you even might could use. But I find it interesting. I find the reason that if we could centralize more things, you probably get a better game, And football's always had the programs that dominate, correct?
Yes.
100%.
Not just because of coaches, okay? But yes, that's partly and probably a big part of it. But, it's okay as long as we have some form of open communication and fairness. And then here's the last thing I'll tell you what I encouraged our coaches to think about. I said, I'm going to give you the 2 P's that make you a good football coach or not, in my opinion. And I've been around a long time. It's personnel and it's preparation. So let's talk about what does personnel mean? How do we balance a little bit of the NIL? How do we manage to the success is finding a place you want to go, signing there, loving it your entire time, and right, Mr. Neighbors, and graduating from there and be a proud alum, correct?
100%.
That's it. So that's the goal. So how do we make recruiting important again and slow the portal process down? So that has to be looked at. All those folks smarter than me can hopefully help that. And our coaches live it so they can help. I just try to point them in a direction. And then preparation is this. The sooner you know what your team is. Like, so, for example, when we went into Duke, and so far behind, I told our coaches, I said, we have to take day one here, and nothing is by chance. We are going to plan and prepare. I knew exactly how many lifts we wanted. I knew exactly what type of running we felt like we needed to do. Every part of it. Here's the practice approach in practicing football, et cetera, et cetera. And you know what, by gosh, they had won 2 games in the previous 5 years and 10 games in the previous 8. And it wasn't any to write home about, but we won 5 the first year. And if I'd been a little better coach, we'd have probably won 8. But your coaches want a team to some degree in place. You want a program, not a team. And we are really trending, and I don't even love that word, but it is a trend to just yearly try to build your team. The NFL doesn't even have to do that. Think about it. So how hard is that? And I don't think fans like it, personally, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. No, we are as well, Coach. And if there was one uniform, it was that one portal period. Just when is that portal period? There seems to be, at least from what I heard from coaches, there was more united to early January. But Steve Sarkisian, I know Kirby made a comment as well of people are going to say I'm just screaming from the yacht. But, I mean, it's a case where if you do open it up when there's still 4 to 8 or whenever the playoff is going on, it's real.
Get it completely. But you know what? If you're fortunate enough to have a nice yacht, don't complain. Okay? And I mean that. I ain't never had a nice yacht. Okay? I wouldn't complain. And I think that January is probably the best when you get to the second P, and that's preparation. And, it likely will slow down the portal. I would like to see young people work really hard. And let's face it, NIL is not that when it comes to recruiting a high school young man, but it is. Now, they used to work hard at finding out if they were a fit. They believed in the philosophy of the program. I mean, you had to really sit down with mom and dad and the youngster and be truthful and honest.
They might even want to know what you can graduate from, right?
Yes. And so,
Novel thought.
Yeah. What do you want to major in? Here's what our path is. I've sat down with curriculums, and gone through all of it through the years. And what is sad is all of this undervalues education. The value of education in people's eyes that are involved in sport, it isn't what it once was. A scholarship, oh my God, what a gift in life a scholarship is/was. And now you're making decisions based on I'm not beating up agents. They're good people. They got a job to do. But based on somebody telling you this is where the best money is, I don't know at 18 if that's a good path. Even sometimes 17. I don't know if it's a good path at 19 or 20 years old. My mother told me, and I have always shared this, David, don't choose don't choose places, and dang sure never money, but choose people in your life.
Yeah.
And that's the magic. I was blessed to be around the people that I've been around. I owe them everything, starting with my own family, my parents, my siblings, and then my teammates and classmates, and good gosh. And I just think we're not careful, we're going to lose that value of education, and even maybe more of an education, the life skills it takes to overcome adversity. Because I don't know about anybody else, but at my age, I still have to work hard to overcome some of the adversity that I face. And I'm very thankful on my background because of that.
Coach, what do you know maybe that we don't in regards to the college football playoff in terms of getting on the committee? And I wish there was a little bit better transparency in that regard of just knowing that process, Coach.
Yeah, well, that's vetted. The college football playoff is an organization. I think they're really working hard. That's another case where we had a lot of change occur, and maybe it wasn't totally necessary at that time to change. So we saw the unintended consequences, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think that we've had good people on there, but you need a better selection process. Once you're in the room, the process has to be really, really good, and it has to be defined. It's not an opinion anymore once you're in that room. You can have all the opinions you want until you walk on that committee. Now we need hard facts, and it's interesting. The reason I'm not a huge fan of all the committees is that there's usually a chair or somebody that just runs it all. I think every committee I served on as a coach during my tenure, there was a person that just dominated the whole meeting, and people let it happen. And I thought yesterday, for example, our meeting in Indy was very back and forth, and I was sitting over there smiling when there was a few arguments. I like that. There's progress there, and so I think they may kind of really work to expand their personnel a little bit. Their in-house personnel. Still try to, be inclusive to athletes and former coaches of character, and they hire people to do all these background checks. So I think the people portion of it hasn't been as broken as people might think. I think the process that you have to use people and data. And again, I'm talking about real data. Okay. I'll tell you what I used this example yesterday. I said, when you look at data in college football, there is so much disparity in scores and talent levels, and we have this mixed potpourri of the group of six, the A4, even FCS playing, and so all this data gets run. And I've always paid attention to whatever conference I'm in, to our conference statistics. Although I've already told you what I believe about stats, but points per game, all of that. Well, the NFL has 32 teams, and everybody there, believe it or not, can beat anybody. All 32 have the ability to win. They do. They may not for various reasons, but years ago, I'm trying to remember the years, whenever Dick Vermeil went to TV out of coaching, he and I developed a really strong friendship, and we did a lot of studying together. But the only data I wanted to know was what were the indicators in the NFL, the very strongest indicators of win versus loss and of points per game. That was it. That's all I cared about. And that's all Coach Vermeil cared about. And we dug into that, and I still got some of those notebooks. I probably should package them up and raffle them off to coaches.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. They always say stats are for losers to some degree. That is true because of the way people accumulate statistics, if you will. But a better word is data. And if you're in rocket science, you better have accurate data. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, right now, with the amount of money and intensity involved, college football playoffs may well be rocket science. So that's what I mean by a really keen selection process that utilizes data and people of integrity. That's what I would like to see. You asked me what I thought about it. That's kind of been it in a nutshell.
Yes, sir. Finally, at least for me, Coach, this holding off the schedule till 26 has at least some folks concerned about some rivalries that may or may not play in 26.
Yeah, I get that, and I understand that, and our fans are number one always for me. And but it's complicated right now. It's God bless, Mark Womack, Matt Evans, who dive into this with all these analytic companies, and I sit and listen, and I understand that. I really, really do. But we don't have 10 teams or 12 teams anymore. We by necessity, thank goodness, we do have 16.
Yes, sir.
In the Southeast Conference. Wouldn't y'all agree with that?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
And so it's better again to make sure you know why and what you're doing before you just jump on it. And I don't belittle fans, and I will say this, and I say it all the time anywhere I'm speaking. The only reason it just means more in the Southeastern Conference is our fans.
Yes, sir.
Not the players. It's not the legendary players and coaches. It's our legendary fans. And see, forever, I was riding a bus in with a police escort. And that's pretty easy, by the way, get into a stadium. And now I'm just an old Joe driving my car to these games, I'm like, dang, man, and I'm fighting that traffic, and I'm fighting the, walking and, people spilling stuff on me. And I'm like, holy smoke, our fans, you're awesome. You are absolutely amazing. And I truly appreciate it. I do. And I bring that up, just so y'all know, in our meetings all the time with our conference hierarchy. I grew up here. I started dreaming of SEC football, literally dreaming at 6 years old. I played more SEC games in a pasture than anybody's ever played. It was real, too, I'm telling you. Threw more touchdown passes than any of them because it was just, it's what you dreamed about. 4:00 on Sunday afternoons. No offense to the Auburn folks. My mother knew to holler because I'd be somewhere in the woods or a pasture, and I knew it was 3:55. I had to sprint into the house to sit in front of that little black and white TV and see Coach Bryant talk about the game and show some clips. Wow,
that was everybody, right? I mean,
don't forget the potato chips.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah, Golden Flakes.
That's right.
I still keep them in my house in honor of him. My daddy would not, and no offense to the Pepsi folks, I love y'all, but my daddy would not allow a Pepsi product in the house.
That's right.
And it was Coca-Cola only. And then my brother ended up, he played at Florida, so he told Coach Bryant, went to Florida, and I didn't know what was going to happen, if my daddy would throw a Coke bottle at him or if my uncles might gun him down. I wasn't sure. But, and you know what? He chose Florida for his right reasons. He had a great career there, and he loved Ray Graves. More power to him. He was man enough at that age to make a decision that he knew was best for him. So, all good.
I've gotten a couple of messages saying, Coach, you've had a couple of darn good-looking yachts in your day.
Well, I've had two that their last name begins with M, but we're talking programs, I think, when we're talking from those yachts. And God bless, I love places I've been, but it wasn't all easy. And now, rightfully so. You know what I got? My boat is a John boat. I can do my bass fishing out of a John boat. So just understand that, okay?
Yes, sir.
This boy is not about fancy, I can promise you.
So, Coach, what do you think is going to happen if the Tennessee-Alabama game's not played? I just can't believe they're thinking about that.
I know I would cry, and I know that Jim Goosetree would be crying in heaven, and Ken Donahue, and Coach Bryant more than likely. And,
well, I think it'll be a travesty. I mean, seriously, I just think.
I get that, and people do understand that completely. But also know that you have to deal with strength of schedule within the league, and everybody behind closed doors is hollering, screaming about their schedule. You understand that too, right? So that's part of this. The 8-game, 9-game thing has to be settled. I think it's inevitable that it goes to 9, and then you can sustain that game and some others. You're not going to sustain every game, folks. But that one's been important a long, long time.
I remember one other time they talked about back when Bow was the athletic director, and he talked to me about it, and he said, there's no way that we'll ever give up that game because it means so much. It doesn't mean much when you're winning and you're undefeated, but having Auburn on the schedule one year and then Tennessee home game the next is what sells tickets.
Yeah,
season tickets.
No, well, and again, it serves our fans well, and that's part of what comes up. But I just want to tell y'all, it's not without. That's not an intention that anybody wants to see happen. Okay, so I will say that, and it is a bit frightening for me. But I try to be, the best I can, a team player, and understand everybody's problems. But let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope it can move forward. I certainly understand why the coaches don't love the idea of playing 9 conference games, because I didn't like it either. They started talking about that when I was at Duke in ACC spring meetings, and I shut it down. I said, let me tell you something, guys. And every one of you listen closely. Until the SEC plays 9, we're not playing 9. No way. No way. That is suicide if you do it.
Well, especially what they did last year. I mean, the strength of schedule didn't matter to anybody at the end of last year.
I know. And that's part of this, that's part of this decision. And again, fairness of schedules, and we got quite a few teams that could qualify. Does the 5-11 go through? If that's the case, what should you play, 8 or 9? If you get AQs, and again, you don't know any of this is going to pass or not.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just hope I'm still alive, taking breaths when some of this stuff really does get solved. And I think it takes what I call clear and concise communication with leadership of consequence. I'd understand as a leader, sometimes people don't like the consequence of your decisions, and you still have to make them. And that can go either way. When I'm not talking about giving up the Tennessee-Alabama game, it can be keeping it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But I think it takes both counts of that, guys, in a big way. And it's not easy, at all. And nothing about it is supposed to be easy. Anything that's this important won't come with an easy button. What is that, Staples? It's not giving them a commercial here, but that easy button used to get on my nerves a little bit because I don't see that anywhere. But my mother would say, good. If it's hard, that means you're getting better. Nothing easy makes you better. Yes, ma'am. So, there's another wisdom from Mom.
So, Coach, one of the last things here is I'm trying to understand why this is even being considered since we were able to play the games this year, right? I mean, with an 8, why does all of a sudden it become a problem?
The biggest thing are the complaints by the institutions of equality of schedule. That's where it comes from, just so you know.
So who's how does it?
I can't tell you who the ADs are that are the loudest, and let's face it, they are, as I said, charged with finances. So that's both sides of that street. Some of them fighting for, some of them fighting. Well, this isn't fair to us, et cetera, et cetera. And I haven't revisited with anybody because I've been traveling to these meetings in the office. I'm going to get in there tomorrow afternoon, and I'll probably be enlightened a little bit. So I don't want to say anything acting as if I know.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
just so interested in that and how, I mean, because teams change. I mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Look at the Alabama-Tennessee rivalry.
It's well, it means a lot to the three of us, no question, and the many thousands upon thousands of others. And hopefully that does stay in place.
Heck, I'll throw in. There's some Auburn, Georgia. I'll even put in some non-conference like Oklahoma State. I think that's an important rivalry moving forward for the health of the game.
Yeah, I do. And again, how do you balance getting everything you want? That never happens.
Yeah.
And the NFL scheduling is a unique thing. Again, listening to them and talking to them about some of their processes, teams do change, but they have to make decisions and go with it. And they have divisions. If you had a smaller model in the NCAA version of football, FBS, then you might have divisions still, though you're guaranteed to play your division rival, correct?
That's right.
So, I mean, this could go on. This is like being in one of these meetings. Y'all making me work tonight.
We have you. We don't let you go till you start sweating.
I'm getting ready to go see one of my grandsons play baseball.
Yes, sir.
They win tonight. They're in the championship game, and I can't tell you how much I enjoy doing that because I could never do those things as a football coach. So
Well,
I
Coach,
have no complaints. I get to do some things in the evening. I like it.
I can't thank you enough for the extended visit. We always learn so much and really appreciate your availability and your knowledge and willingness to come on. And I just talking to the fans, and we're just trying to protect a game that we all love so much, and that's college football.
Well, I love the service y'all do to the fans. As a matter of fact, I was in Atlanta over the weekend at an event, and some people came up to me, knew who I was, and they were from Huntsville and Athens, and they said, "We hear you every now and then. Hey, we love Wes and Steve, man. That's a great show." And I said, "Yes, it is. The only time you need to turn it off when I come home."
Oh, no.
Honestly, I mean, y'all were being talked about in Atlanta. Some were from there, and then other people over there. I don't know if they originally were from Huntsville or what, but yeah, it was interesting to have that occur. And I meant to tell y'all that earlier, but I had forgotten it. But anyway, you guys are very popular, so just keep telling the truth, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're making it up as fast as we can.
Go see that baseball game. Let me know how it turns out, Coach.
I did a little. I will let y'all know, but I did a little writing recently. So I send out things to our former coaches about the truth and all these sayings we have. But you want to study a word, and you want to study times. What is the truth? May be the first thing we have to do a better job of finding.
Wow.
Because if we can say that, you know, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, you know, so help me God, and we struggle with that. And the judicial system, I pointed that out. And then we hear the term the truth hurts. Well, should it? I don't know if it's the truth that really shouldn't hurt, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just, you look at that, and I wrote this stuff up, and they loved it. And at the end of it, I just told them, guys, please remember, when you're working with young people, be truthful, truly truthful. So anyway, there you go.
Can you send me that, Coach? Can you? I mean,
yeah, I can dig it out.
Okay.
To get it to you.
Okay. Well, go enjoy the game, and I look forward to talking with you down the road, sir.
All right, y'all take care.
Thank you, Coach.
I mean, yes, I am fully aware of what time it is. There are people that are tweeting me. There's a couple of people texting me saying, you know,
hey, that's rule number one. When you got something good, don't interrupt it. And
So
every time Coach Cutcliffe calls, I listen.
I took a lot out of that conversation. Most notably,
some teams complaining is causing all this. That's interesting to me. I mean, I don't
love to know which team.
Yes,
are complaining.
We can figure that.
Well,
out.
he said teams. He didn't.
Yeah. Oh, there has
he
to be
didn't.
more than one. But who could it be? I mean, think about it. Is it Tennessee? Right? I don't know. Who is it?
Well, give me about 20 minutes. I'll have it up on the website at 977ESPN.com. You can listen to it and see if you can hear between the lines.
Did you hear anything between the lines?
Oh, I was trying to put out a fire over here. I missed a lot of it.
There is some issues at Rickwood.
Well, you know, it's a throwback game, so they're throwing it back to a time before internet, and so we're trying to beat some technology into submission to make sure that things work. So
I'm doing this.
Steve's over here taking my job away from me. So what I was going to do is go back and listen to it later. I'm the guy that puts this together afterwards for the podcast. So
I also heard for the first time from Coach Cutt a definitive 9 games is going to happen. He said that eventually 9 games is going to happen.
Yeah. But I think that I believe if you listen, there's a lot of posturing going on by a lot of people, including the SEC commissioner.
Yeah.
And he's saying we're not going to 9 games.
It's a big game of chicken, it feels
well,
like.
Well, yeah.
CFP.
What he's saying is we're not going to 9 games unless they change something. Why would we?
That's the chicken that I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, no question. So I think that when you talk to Cut, he says it's to be able to play these games, we'll have to do that. So we'll see. I don't think it'll be obviously it's not going to be next year. Maybe the next year after. So
I don't know, but I tend to agree.
There's no way they can schedule at this point. That's not going to happen.
Let's take a timeout here. Final call for phone calls on the other side. Walking up to Braves baseball. That's coming up later on here tonight.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellini's tonight.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. Taking care of your property yourself can be a real headache. Eagle can handle it for you. They offer full landscaping services, irrigation, mowing, bush hog, and can install plants and trees, sod, and even landscape borders. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
John Abraham here for Bobcat of Huntsville. Right now till the end of June, you can get 0% financing on the world-famous line of Bobcat skid steers, excavators, mowers, and tractors. Need attachments? They got them. And did I mention 0% as in nada? No financing charge for 48 months. It's like free money. Visit the brand new Bobcat of Huntsville in their tremendous new facilities on Highway 20 in Madison, right next to Redstone Harley-Davidson.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943. FDIC.
Talking ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
1, 2, 3.
In the summertime, one out trees and leaves are green, and the redbird sings out the blue. But you don't want
Is this on X?
No.
Okay, I was about to say.
This is just as I stumble around the internet. I forgot
Okay.
how many Roger Miller songs.
I was about to say this. I was gonna. Yeah, I
You're
hear
lucky I
Roger.
didn't pull You Can't Roller Skate in Buffalo herd. That's ready to go.
The voice of Roger Miller is very. I'm just telling you, does it get better than that?
Sings out the blue. But you don't want my love.
This is by far more entertaining than the Atlanta Braves right now.
This is just listening back to this again. I think it's the inspiration for the hamster dance song.
I did get a couple of tweets and a text. One guy from a former classmate of mine when I was at Tucker High School. Tucker is a suburb of Stone Mountain, saying that he went to that event in Atlanta and talked us up.
Well, there you go.
And he's obvious. Terry, you're obviously listening right now, so I appreciate you.
Thanks, buddy.
Listening.
Appreciate it. Glad we were able to play this for you.
There you go. But Spencer Strider is on the bump for Atlanta, and it's already a 1-0 score in favor of the D-backs. I had a favorite tweet from Mark Bowman. Let me try to bring this up here real quick before we head off to final call for phone calls. I guess I need to give the telephone number 256-576-4977. That's the wrong show. Is the telephone number. You need to tune in 9 to 11 for that in particular. Mark Bowman tweeted out 2 days ago after the Braves game 2 days ago, the Braves have a better record in the National League than the Marlins, Pirates, and Rockies. That's it. And Spencer Strider's struggling again. Now, before we go, one bit of audio that I did not get a chance to play yesterday, something, frankly, I forgot about. And the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference was asked about it, and that was reseeding after the first round. Now, way back in 2021, when we first got wind of 12 being a factor, that was a talking point to reseed after the first round moving forward. Is there any talk of that, Commissioner?
If you go back to June of 21, which was like ancient history in college sports, when the 12-team model was introduced, and we went back through this about a month ago with everybody involved on that management committee. One of the questions was, should we be in reseeding? We never really got back to that because you remember the SEC had this little expansion to 16, great disruption in the force. Then we had 22, an expansion of the Big Ten. So we waited around for a year, and now we've been in hurry up mode since. So we haven't talked so much about reseeding as we did just about honoring the rankings in the bracket.
So there's that, at least not being discussed. And thought that was interesting, listening to the commissioner.
Yeah, who knows? I just think this is all. I think absolutely anything can happen at this point. I don't think anything's been decided. They're just talking different stuff. I know that player safety has gone out the window. So
what's player safety?
Yeah, why do we have these stupid targeting calls if we're going to have 17 games?
I did warn John McDade. So I did talk to John. So we did. If you heard that last week, it was myself and oh goodness,
and you didn't ask him about the Oklahoma.
No, but I warned him. I said, get ready when you sit down with us in Atlanta. We got something to talk about. And he said, what are we talking about? So I at least know. I said, illegal man downfield. Oh, the Oklahoma-Alabama game. I mean, that's all I had to say was illegal man downfield. Oh, the Oklahoma-Alabama game.
So what did he say?
He just said, okay, thanks for the heads up.
So now he's going to avoid you.
Exactly.
No,
We'll never get him.
No, he's not going
He's
to
avoided just like the plague.
No, he's gone on. He's been on.
At
John
one time.
McDade has been on every year with us
Yes,
at SEC
at
media.
SEC media days. And then you call him during every week.
No,
and they'll talk.
I email him. He is not.
Well, he doesn't read his email.
He does not. I have asked him for his telephone number several times. He has yet to give me said telephone number.
I mean, I just don't understand. The first touchdown I thought was a touchdown. I was shocked about that. But that's the second one. Go back and watch the tape of the first one.
I'll need to do that.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
was in
remember it off
bounds.
the top of
Yeah,
my
they
head.
said he was you could see green grass between his toe and where he was.
I vaguely remember. But at the core of it, especially here covering the Southeastern Conference, back to schedules, the core of it are these rivalries.
Yes.
And more so, every university has at least one. Some universities have more, but it would just be criminal for rivalries like Auburn and Georgia.
Who has such a hard schedule?
Well, I
that
seem to
they're
remember
complaining?
Nick Saban complaining on the 6-3. Remember back?
Yeah, I mean, I got why he was, but it's not 6-3. We're just talking about 2.
I know.
So I don't know
who's crowing. Who's crowing?
Yeah.
He made.
I mean, because they're not
Cutcliffe
talking
made it
about
sound
3.
Like it was ADs crowing more than football coaches. That's what I took out of what David.
Well, what we
Cutcliffe
need to
said.
do is go look. If you just took out, and you probably have some way to do this. If you took out just the non-conference games and took the SEC games and did a study of who had the toughest schedule, then you probably find it. Because they have to have some data they're looking at that's saying, hey, this is unfair.
Immediately what popped into my mind, at least as a comeback, and I didn't say it to Coach Cut, was, so you're telling me you don't believe in your coaching staff? You're telling me you don't believe that you're going down the right path, that everybody that's in charge of your football program for your team.
Well, then what they're complaining about is not, it has the strength of schedule and how it's not fair. So they have to have something they're basing it on. I just want to know who's complaining, because that all stuff changes, and we've seen that. Who is saying that if we play both of our rivalries, is that not fair? That's all I want. It's easy to figure out.
I can think of one team that played 2 number 1 teams in one year.
I mean, I don't about last year.
Yeah, I know. I'm going through the Rolodex in my head. Kentucky. I don't know. I mean,
I can't be Kentucky.
You don't think so? Missouri.
Who are there? Who's Missouri's? Arkansas? Arkansas and who would they be? I don't know. I'm just asking.
They're trying to do that rivalry between South Carolina and Missouri because it's the 2 Columbias. They're trying to sell us on that.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think they're complaining. I wouldn't be complaining if I had to play South Carolina and Kentucky. That's
well, Arkansas. I see it. The Atlanta Braves and the Arizona Diamondbacks are currently playing, and we're going to get done. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, we're at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, and surprisingly enough, Drew DeArmond's going to join us again.
I can't believe that.
I calm down, everybody.
I'm glad he'll be able to pry it into his schedule.
I will.
I can't believe he came here Monday without any food in here.
Well, Steve had lunch here and he smelled it. So
Yeah, no, I had to move it to the point where when he walked out, he said, "I'm not sure whose food this is.
Yeah,
that's
as he was
mine.
reaching for it.
It's mine."
I thought it was his, and I was going to hide it.
No, full move. I appreciate that. Braves baseball, bottom of the second, 2-0 D-backs currently, and bottom of the second's now done. So 2-0. See, we're getting you prepped up for the good part of the game.
See?
Yeah. I don't even believe it.
Great
Ben Ingram
comeback.
is, Ben Ingram
Not
is on
bad,
the
but
young
great
side.
Oh, yeah. Ben Ingram's fantastic.
Yeah, he is.
And if you want to listen to Trash Panda Baseball at Rickwood, that is
Rickwood
it's
Classic
cool.
tonight.
It is so cool. If you've never been to Rickwood, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. You can feel, if you're a history buff, they have a little museum in the front lobby area. So good. Braves and Diamondbacks are next. We'll talk to you tomorrow.